Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Titan Alumni Talks, a weekly podcast where we talk to alumni about their experiences at Cal State Fullerton. For this week's episode, we have Kathy Yu, who currently works as an account manager for national ad sales at Hulu. She graduated Cal State Fullerton with a double bachelor's, one in communications and one in political science. In this week's episode, we talk about her experiences at Cal State Fullerton, along with all the activities she's done over there, and her volunteer activities outside of Cal State Fullerton after she graduated. Stay tuned for more episodes of Titan Alumni Talks every Saturday at 6 p.m. on titanradio.org, or you can catch them on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CSUF alumni. So thank you, Kathy, for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So to begin with, you work currently two jobs, sort of, because one of them is a volunteer work. So first, you work at Hulu. So tell us a little bit about what you do at Hulu currently.
So I'm currently on the ad sales team at Hulu, and my role is really a blend of client services and project management. It's called account management. So I work with brands to advertise on Hulu. So whether it be through video commercials, interactive ad units, or a product integration into Hulu Original. So my role works on advertising campaigns from start to finish, also known as pre-sale and post-sale. So from concepting the idea to actually implementing it. And since I'm in the Bay Area, I work with a lot of tech clients. And so some of them are, like Airbnb, Facebook, Salesforce, and Uber.
That's quite a bit that you do at one certain place. And then that came all from, you're kind of all well-rounded at Hulu with your job over there. And then you also are a volunteer for the Alumni Association. So tell us a little bit about that as well and what you do over there.
So I am on the board of directors for the Alumni Association. I'm very new to it, actually. I joined maybe a few months ago. So we've only had a few meetings, but I have been able to kind of hit the ground running and implement a couple of different ideas. So I'm really excited. Basically as a director on the board, you're helping come up with, programming ideas or different strategic kind of initiatives to help push the Alumni Association forward. So as I continue through that journey, I'm excited to see, how I can make a bigger impact.
And working over there, you haven't had any in-person meetings so far, right?
Correct. Everything has been virtual. So I haven't even gone to go into the alumni house, to see everything since I graduated. So it's a little sad, but I think the staff that runs the Alumni Association, they are doing a great job keeping us engaged virtually through Zoom.
So what kind of made you want to come back since you graduated in 2010, about 10 years later, to volunteer at the Alumni Association?
I wanted to just have an opportunity to give back and see how I can make an impact, because I actually didn't know much about the Alumni Association and the board up until, a few years ago, when one of my friends who's also on the board, mentioned it to me and talked about all the great opportunities that she's had getting involved. And so she's the one that kind of, sparked the motivation for me to apply and get involved. And when I was in school, I was very, very involved. So I felt like, this would be a fun way to continue that and see how I can help out.
I see. And this isn't your first type of volunteer work that you've done before. You've done quite a bit before this as well. So what does volunteering mean to you, and why do you continue to do it?
Well, I like being able to give back and taking advantage of the skills that I have to help with that. I mean, when you're volunteering, you're kind of doing it not with any kind of intention. You're not doing it with or any conditions either. You're kind of doing unconditionally, right? And I think that's so comforting and just a nice kind of escape from your normal day-to-day and your jobs. So I love being able to volunteer and be able to see how my just helping any little way can make an impact. So I think that if I could make this a career, I'd love to. So eventually I'd love to, maybe go shift careers and go towards nonprofit route. And so I can do this full time.
I see. So about your current career, you've worked a lot in Salesforce, in media and advertising before working at Hulu as well. So how did your major in comms lead to this?
So I actually majored with a concentration in public relations. So my first two internships were in PR. And when I was looking for, a full-time job after college, I was looking for like something that could kind of blend my interests and my skills. And I had a lot of kind of like marketing experience and kind of event planning experience separately. So I was looking for something that kind of molded everything. And I accidentally landed in media planning, which is it's different from anything I had known before. Like I didn't go to school for it. I didn't even know it existed. I thought it was an event planning job when I heard media planning. I don't know why. I just thought that. And so it ended up opening so many doors for me because I ended up working at two creative agencies that in the media department. And then I worked at a media agency, digital media agency, before shifting over to the dark side on the publisher side. But it was a great experience because working in media, you get to be exposed to so many things that people don't realize. You're helping with the strategy and the like behind the scenes kind of like basic strategy, I guess, in implementing advertising. So I started off with kind of like full service, doing all different types of cross-platform media, and I eventually shifted over to digital. So now I specialize in digital and OTT, and then I shifted over to working at Hulu, where it kind of made sense to kind of continue from that. So yeah, that's where I'm at now.
And you started the journey while in college, right? Figuring out like what jobs would be like fit for you and working as an intern.
Yeah, that's true because with the PR concentration, you do have to have an internship to help kind of basically continue with your major. And so when I was in school, I basically focused on the idea of finding an internship that could help me with my career. And my first internship was in entertainment PR. And that made total sense because of the area we're in. I grew up in LA, not too far away. Orange County was really easy for me to kind of go from school to my internship. So being able to do entertainment PR was something really fun because I could implement the skills I've learned into something I was interested in. So that's kind of like how I kind of started with, the journey, I guess, from entertainment into where I'm at now, because now I'm in entertainment again, working at Hulu.
I see. And then you also majored in political science. You got your double major during your bachelor or undergrad at Cal State Fullerton. So what was the path like? Are you planning to go more into political science with your career or work in politics at any time?
So what's funny is I don't believe that I will do full-time political science, but I've been able to use it for my side passions. So one of the organizations that I volunteer for is the League of Women Voters, and I'm part of the SF chapter, living in the Bay Area. And this is basically a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that kind of encourages people to get involved politically and stay informed. So I've been able to utilize my major for my side passion, which is actually pretty fun. So I could do my communications kind of job full-time, but I'm able to implement the political science part-time.
I see. So you're able to, how long were you working here? Or this is a volunteer organization as well, right?
Yes, the League of Women Voters. I'm just a volunteer for them. So I've been volunteering with them for about a year now.
Oh, okay, I see. And do they only like work during election time or election season, or is it like
it's constantly year round because there's also a couple, local initiatives too, local ballots and stuff like that. So it's just constantly getting people involved and engaged. So sometimes we'll have panels, with like maybe like the police commission or something like that, or with the mayor, just so people are informed. But the goal is to like be as, kind of like year round and evergreen so that people can continue to stay active.
And then did the political science major also require you to take an internship before you graduated?
No, actually it didn't. But I think that if I had done that, it would have possibly taken me somewhere else. I feel like it may have taken me to DC. So you never know.
So I want to know a little bit about what you're doing after college, post-grad. You're trying to get your master's in leadership and nonprofit management at Northeastern University,
That's
right?
correct. Yeah. So I actually start tomorrow.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you. So I think when I was trying to look for different grad programs, I was looking for something that could help kind of push me in my career and also be flexible where I could kind of utilize it in different areas too if I decide to go a different career path. So the idea of getting like a leadership kind of master's really helps me be flexible and nimble. And I thought that by concentrating in nonprofit management, I can utilize the skills that I'm learning there for all my volunteer work. So it kind of like kills two birds with one stone, basically. And so I'm really excited for that opportunity.
I see. And is this master's program like outside of COVID going to be online completely as well?
Yeah, luckily I found a program that was online. That was kind of like the must have when I was looking for different schools. Fortunately, with Northeastern, you're able to, if you want to, you can swap. You can switch over to an in-person as well. They're based in Boston, so I'd like to stay in California. So that's
Yeah, moving for like a couple of years might not be the best idea. The East Coast,
yeah.
you're going to miss out on the sunny weather and
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, also, they have a satellite campus in San Francisco. So they told me I could study from there if I want to. It's like a WeWork or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But hopefully that doesn't feel like
Exactly.
WeWork. So tell me a little bit about your time on campus. So you did take 5 years to graduate, but in that time you did quite a bit over there. So tell me some of like the main activities or like your favorite things that you've done on campus during those like
Yeah.
5 years.
So one of the biggest roles I had at Cal State Fullerton was on the ASI executive team. My role originally was called ASI and Chief Administrative Officer, which I don't believe exists anymore. I believe it's called the Chief Campus Relations Officer. I think that's what it's called now. But basically, my role was, helping students get involved. So I worked with the chief communications officers to recruit and market to students like how they should get involved on campus with different ASI, commissions and things like that. And so that was really, really great because I really felt like I made an impact on campus. And I was able to kind of get to know a lot of different clubs and organizations and I also was able to get involved with them too. And then another big organization I was involved with, I am, in Sigma Kappa sorority. It is a Panhellenic sorority on campus, and I actually lived in the sorority house for a year. So that was really fun. And while I was in Sigma Kappa, I was the PR chair. So that was really relevant for my major. And I was also recruitment counselor for them. And then outside of that, I was in a bunch of other organizations too, but the big the one club that I joined that really kind of like kicked off everything. It was called Titan Task Force. I believe it's called Titan Stampede now, maybe. But that organization was the one that kind of helped spearhead, getting school spirit back on campus because back then, it was really considered more of a commuter school at Cal State Fullerton. So it was really fun to be part of an organization that kind of encouraged students to go to games and get involved. And, at the games, we passed out like pom-poms and had signs and things like that. And we did tailgates. And so it was a really, really fun club to help get students excited about being at Cal State Fullerton.
How long were you part of that club, the Titan Task Force?
Pretty much 4 years of my 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when I was at school, like my freshman year, I really thought of Cal State Fullerton as a commuter school. I basically went to school and then I went to work and didn't really take advantage of what was available at school. And I saw a sign, like a poster that promised me free pizza. And if I went to a Titan Task Force meeting. And so of course I'm like, I have to go get pizza. It's free. And I thought maybe this is my opportunity to, make a bigger, or make it more fun to be at school. And so after I went to that meeting, it never stopped there. I was so involved after that. So I really, really have to give kudos to that club for getting me excited to be a student.
So going back on Cal State Fullerton being a commuter school, you mentioned that you lived at the sorority house for 1 year. What about the other 4?
I lived at home, basically for the 4 out of the 5 years. So I grew up in El Monte, which is kind of near Pasadena side. So commuting to school took about maybe 45 minutes to get to school. That's why I think my first year I was really just focused on going to work and then going to school basically. And all my part-time jobs were closer to home. And once I started getting involved, I realized that I needed to kind of make it all work. So I would go to class, then I'd go to work back where my hometown is, and then I'd come back for like a 30-minute meeting. It was kind of crazy. I don't know why I did that. I wish I was a little bit more efficient with that, but I put a lot of mileage on my Honda Civic for sure.
I'm kind of surprised that you were able to do so many things while also commuting at the same time. So tell me a little bit about like how you happen to manage your time, because I know there's no way I would have been able to do that.
No, see, that's the thing. People can, if they really want to do something, they'll make an effort, right? Like if you aren't really sure about something, you're like, it's not that exciting to me, you're probably not going to make the effort. But because everything I was doing was like, to me, like the most exciting thing ever, I think that helped me make time for it. Does that make sense? Like same thing with even just like, if you want to spend time with your family, you would prioritize them, right? And make time for them. So that's kind of how my mindset was. Like I prioritized and made it so it was possible. But another trick that I've learned, which I highly recommend for anybody, when you're dealing with a lot of stuff and you're super busy and you're trying to figure out your schedule and how to fit everything, block scheduling is the way to go.
I see. So one thing I wanted to ask was about the IRA committee that you were on, because I am actually on that committee as well. How was it being on the committee? And so you represented did you represent communications or political science? So
I was the ASI rep on that committee.
But the thing I love about these things on campus, like ASI, the IRA committee, and then like all the other jobs that are offered, there's just so much for you to do that you can get like involved in your major with your friends.
I totally agree. And I think that your experience at Cal State Fullerton is basically what you make of it. And if you want more out of it, you need to make an effort to like find out what's happening on campus, what opportunities you have to get involved. And like, you'd be surprised at how many like options there are and like in your own department. Cause you may think like, oh, it's not relevant to me. And it's too vague or some like, some of the roles are, not like fun, but like there are so many ways to get involved and it can really impact your own department. So I think that's really great that Cal State Fullerton has so many options for students.
It's just good to get connected, just to know more people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like my opinion on it. And
no, I totally agree with the idea of connections, because a lot of my jobs and internships were because of connections. I got my first PR internship because my hiring manager was a Cal State Fullerton alum. So he wasn't in the comms department, but he knew about the comms department. And he was like, you know what, I know that, Cal State Fullerton has really, really strong communication students. Like we need to hire her. So that's how I got my first job, is just because of the connection. Yeah. And even in my second PR internship, I got it because the HR person was a Sigma Kappa sorority member. So I got that. And then, oh my gosh, I could go on, but basically, a lot of my jobs were because of connections.
Even if like you don't get a direct connection, you could still get like a letter of rec or like a reference from any of them as well.
Exactly. Because a lot of times internal referrals are like the way to go. So even if you aren't super familiar with the person that you're connected with, like just try and reach out, because a lot of times they want to help out and help people, hire the right person. So I think that like it's totally fine for you to reach out and see if they're able to to send in your resume.
Mm-hmm. And even like if it doesn't turn out with like their recommendation, then it wouldn't have turned out anyways. There's no harm being done by getting these connections and just meeting other people as well.
Exactly. Totally agree.
Back with Kathy, and we're going to ask her the quick fire questions. She's worried because these are some controversial topics. Some people are going to get. All right. So I just want like quick answers from these. I don't want like long-winded answers. I want to the point answers. All right. First, coffee versus tea.
Neither. I don't drink caffeine.
That's the first. So what do you drink instead of water? Like if you don't want water today, what are you going to drink?
Apple juice.
Apple juice is your go-to. Okay.
Yeah, caffeine is just I don't really need it actually to get like work done. So, but I do like the taste of both. I just don't drink them.
But which was better, undergrad, or do you think graduate school will be better?
I'm gonna just say undergrad, just because at least that one was in person. And I was able to make so many connections of it. So I'm going to say that.
Okay. Early bird versus night owl.
Early bird.
All right. Math or language arts?
Language arts.
In person or virtual?
Of course, in person.
You prefer dogs or cats?
Dog. Very easy.
A phone call or a text message? Would you rather receive?
I mean, I would prefer to receive a phone call. I prefer to give a text because it's faster. I know that sounds weird, but that's how I feel.
Waffles, pancakes, or eggs?
Waffles.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Do you prefer online shopping or shopping in a store?
Shopping in a store.
Pen or a pencil?
Pen.
And then a horror movie or a comedy movie?
Comedy. I'm not a scary person at all.
To end it off, winter or summer?
Summer.
All right, so that's it for the quickfire questions. So regarding, you got two majors, one in political science and one in communications. What advice would you give to students who are trying to get in any of those fields?
So my big advice is take on internships or volunteer opportunities so that you can get experience and be able to talk about it for future interviews. A lot of times, like when you're applying for jobs, hiring managers and recruiters are going to be looking at, what experience you have because they're going to have so many applications that having something on your resume is going to be super important. So take advantage of, opportunities to get in, experience in your field for sure. And that way also when you're in your interview, you can talk about specific examples of what you've done in the past. So like, for example, if you were able to, intern for a PR agency, you're able to talk about, all maybe the articles you've written or all of the clippings you've had and things like that. So highly recommend just getting as much experience as you can.
I see. And let's go through a scenario. I'm an undergrad in my first year and I'm undecided for my major. Can you give me like a pitch on why I should join either comm or political science? Like why should I go for those? Can you can you talk about your college and like represent them?
Oh my God. Okay. So I believe that communications is a really good kind of like major to have because it's kind of broad and all of the skills that you learn is very translatable to a ton of other jobs. You could use it pretty much for any job, except for technical jobs. I'm going to say that. And so if you're not sure of what you want to do, having a broad kind of major might be the way to go because then you can be flexible with the type of role you're going into. Like for example, for me, like I was able to apply my communications major to pretty much all of my jobs and they were all different. I started in PR, I went into media, and then now I'm in sales and communications is aligned with all three. So highly recommend doing some type of major that could kind of give you like a broad range of opportunities. So that's my pitch.
And then what about like political science? Mm-hmm. Why would political science, like, does that also give you like that broad range of like things that you can do in that field?
I think that political science is really interesting because you have like kind of a mix of history, you have, psychology, sometimes philosophy kind of classes that you're taking. And those type of classes can also be beneficial for a lot of jobs too. Be able to understand people and why they do the things they do, how to influence people, how to motivate people. And so if you want to get into maybe like a leadership role in the future, or, you want to get into politics, or you want to get into be a teacher or history, historian or something, like political science is a really good general kind of degree that helps you get into so many things as well. So I feel really lucky that I was able to double major in two subjects that, didn't kind of like hinder me to one kind of field. I'm able to explore so many different things with both majors.
Yeah, normally you would see someone do some like one of these majors, like maybe communications, but also do something that's very focused, mm-hmm. like maybe getting their business major or a business degree, maybe try and go to med school after that, or maybe even computer science to get like a specific mm-hmm. job with having that like broad range. But yeah, you got both two majors that are not like, they're not constricting you to like one thing only, because I know you've done like a ton of things like from when you graduated till now, and it's just, you're not like bound by one thing to be like, hey, I just did one job for like 20 years now.
Yeah, I think it's hard when you're like really young, you don't really know what you want to do. And a lot of times you really need to like have life experience to figure out what you're passionate about. So I think choosing two majors that gave me flexibility didn't make me feel pressured. There's a lot of times when you're a student, you feel so pressured, like I need to figure it out right now, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't want to waste time. And I totally understand that. Totally get it. Like you want to get started with work, you want to make money, and you want to make your parents proud. But I think that pressure is just a lot for people. And so maybe getting like a degree in something that has flexibility is going to help take that pressure off of you.
So when you like start college, or like you're getting into high school, like choosing your major, 17, 18 at that time. And then also they kind of want you to finish college as soon as possible, right? I don't know how familiar you are with the Finish in 15 program, or like that campaign that we have going on, which is Titans should take 15 units every semester. So we have, so we can finish in 4 years, right? So what are your thoughts on that finish in 15? Because you took longer than 4 years to complete your degree.
So I think that there are a lot of benefits to staying on track to finish in 4 years or earlier. I think that if you're able to commit the time and don't have other obligations, then it's an efficient way to get ahead. But I do think that Cal State Fullerton students they're very diverse. Everyone has different backgrounds or financial backgrounds, and it may not be as easy to take on more classes if they have to work or they have like family obligations. So for me, it took me 5 years because I double majored. I also worked all 5 years, and I was very active in general on campus. So I think that it just depends on what works for people. And for me, I wasn't able to finish using the 15 program, but I think it's great if you can.
Yeah, I agree. It does save you a lot of time and money. Tuition $7,000 a year. Yeah. So if you are able to save a full year, then you just saved yourself $7,000 either in loans or cash at the moment. But yeah, like you worked on campus plus double majored and all the other activities. It would be very difficult for like someone like you to finish in those 4 years. And for a lot of students as well, if you are working more, like some students even work full time, which means that if you're working 40 hours a week, how much time can you actually dedicate to 15 minutes, which is 5 different classes every single week for 4 years straight. So yeah, it is nice if you are able to do it, but if not, I don't think it's the end of the world. You will spend more time, but use it wisely then. Yeah. You have more time, maybe join another club or maybe just like take it slow, take it light. Mm-hmm. So those are my like opinions on it.
Yeah, totally agree.
And then like we were mentioning before, but your success, goals and aspirations. So right now, what does success mean to you and how has it changed from like when you first started college?
So I guess for me, success is when I accomplish something or reach something that I'm really proud of. So it's like checking things off my to-do list. And so it could be a lot of little things. Like I find successes in a lot of ways. It's not just about how much money I make or like the type of job I have. It's so many different things. And whether it be like, oh, I finished a project or, oh, I finished something that was really difficult. So I think it's important to kind of have that perspective because if you only have like one giant goal in life and that's the only thing you're working towards, it can kind of put you down and put a lot of like pressure on you. So having lots of little wins will help kind of build your self-esteem and confidence to like continue on. And for my goals and aspirations, they've changed a lot since I was in school. I actually started, when I applied to Cal State Fullerton, I was a business major. And then I switched to biology because I thought I was going to be a pharmacist, very different. And also, because I didn't do well in my first bio class, I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And then I basically changed my major a million times. But what I did was I was efficient. So a lot of the classes I took, I tried to find GEs that double counted for majors. So I was able to try a lot of different things and do it as like productively as possible. And that's kind of how I landed on political science communications. Like I just kept taking a bunch of different classes that double counted and then figured it out. So that's kind of like how I've kind of like lived my life too since graduating college. I've tried a lot of different things and it really takes all of that experience to figure out what is next for me, what would make me happy. And now that I'm in my 30s right now, like I'm able to figure out like, or I feel more like aware and I feel more like I understand who I am more and what I have to offer, what I'm good at. So now like my goals are just to like do what I'm doing now, but on a higher level. And now I'm going to grad school so I can continue building my leadership skills to get higher. So yeah, so a lot of goals that I had when I was in college they've changed, but I think that it takes experience to kind of figure out what your next goals are.
So for like success, you're kind of thinking like the short term and not thinking too big because like if you fail in the short term, then like the big goal might fail as well. And then like a lot of people, like they were saying, kind of like joking about it, but 10 years ago, no one's 10-year plan would have worked. Yeah, totally. Like no one would have predicted that like we're in a pandemic right now. So it is good at times to like think about the short term and say, hey, why not just like finish these projects, these goals and see what just happens next.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. You put it into words way better than I did for sure.
And then with like the GEs, I also love the GEs because a lot of people think that they're like waste like wasteful classes. But like the point of it is that you can try so many different things and you're inspired to. Like same with like the internship that you were mentioning for comm. You have to do it, and it just makes you a well-rounded person. Even though it's like at the moment you might have thought like, hey, it's so boring. I don't want to do this internship. I just want to graduate right now. But doing it, you know, you get access to new opportunities. And same with taking your GE. I think GREs last time. Taking your GEs, it just helps it. Like it's just so much better. You know, it just makes you more well-rounded. And like, I mean, like for you, all these different majors, you got 2 majors already, or like 2 degrees already. And then now you took all your GEs. It's just like, how much more are you going to do? It's so well-rounded. It's like, how much more is there?
Well, I think being well-rounded is really good because you're able to bring different perspectives. Like, you know, like you as a computer science major, you're able to give a different perspective than anyone that's in, you know, communications. You're able to bring structure, processes, like, you know what I mean? A more logical way of thinking. Whereas a lot of times people in more creative fields are just like, you know, head in the clouds. So I think it's good to like have different perspectives so that you're able to do your job or your, basically your role better. So, yeah.
Is there a class at Cal State Fullerton you didn't take?
That I didn't take?
Yeah.
Oh my, okay. So
for the majors, like, is there like one thing that you wanted to try out that like you just didn't take?
Oh my gosh. I wish I took a language, honestly. I didn't take a language.
Oh, you didn't take any languages?
No, yeah. Did you?
Okay. No, I did not. You took it in high school, yeah.
Yeah, I took it in high school, but I feel like that would have been a good opportunity to do it in college because like it's having being like multilingual is so like beneficial when you're in different, you know, when you go into the work world. People actually love looking for people who can speak different languages. So that's something I highly recommend if people are able to. I wish I did that, but yeah, other than that, like I only took 1 math class. Are you surprised?
Are you able to do that? Like, were you able? You can graduate with just 1 math class in comms and poli-sci.
I only took, I think, college algebra. That was the only math class I took. Didn't do well in it.
There's no way.
That was all I took. I don't know if GEs have changed, but I only took 1.
College algebra. Kathy, I'm so disappointed.
Why? Are you disappointed because I'm Asian?
It's just like you only took 1 and it was college like, if you were like 1 and it was like calculus 2, I'll be like, okay. But if you said you took 4 and they were all.
Yeah. I mean, we took like we did like statistics, I think for political science, but that's more like, I don't know. That's more like surveys, you know?
Yeah. And it's like poli-sci statistics. It's not just like the math.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, man, this hurts as like I'm minoring in mathematics as well. So this kind of hurts. I've taken like 8, 9 classes already. Like this hurts.
Oh, I wish you were my tutor. That would make things maybe more fun for me. I don't know.
It's bold of you to assume that just because I took a lot of classes, I do well in them. Math is difficult. Math is not fun. Math is not easy, but it gets there. It's there. If you were going to take a language, what would it be? Like if you took a language class?
Oh, I think I would do either Japanese or French. I think those would be my 2.
Okay. I'm trying to learn French.
Spanish in high school, though.
Oh yeah, I took Spanish in high school, and then now I'm doing like a Duolingo French. So
how fun!
Yeah.
What can you say? What do you know?
I mean, like Je m'appelle Ahad. You know, I'm a little rusty. I don't know a lot. Sorry, you put me on the spot here.
Sorry.
All right. So let's see. Okay, so to end it off, what are some like quick tips you would give to like any like Cal State Fullerton student, like regardless of like major?
Let's see. I think that I kind of like brought this up before, but regardless of your major, it's easy to go to Cal State Fullerton and think of it as a commuter school. So try to like get involved, and it's what you make of it basically. So make an effort to get involved. Utilize the departments on campus that have resources, like whether it be the internship center, the career center, things like that. Like utilize them because that's like such a great opportunity to find ways to like, I guess, progress in your career. So I guess like that would be my biggest tip. But other than that, be open-minded and be yourself, because like if you're not open-minded, you're not going to want to try different things. You're not going to want to meet people. So yeah, I guess those are my 2 tips.
I see. And then those are great tips. Yeah. Just like be as involved as you can. Just take advantage of like the resources that are offered to you on campus. So I mean, like they exist for a reason. If no one used them, then why would they be there?
Exactly.
And they're just there to help you out, you know? So why not like try and find something that It doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt to walk in and be like, hey, is there anything that like I should know, that I can do, what I should, anything like that.
Yeah, they're all there to help you and be a resource to you. So take advantage because like if you like, I remember like one of the meetings I had for the Alumni Association, someone said like they had no idea like a program like existed. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like one of the biggest programs that Cal State Fullerton has. And it's probably because like, you know, a lot of times commuter students don't, you know, take initiative to find out what events are happening. They don't, you know, like check their emails or they don't like look on their social media, but like it's all showcase. It's up to you to kind of like look for them for sure.
And to end it off, I want to know like what your favorite thing that you ever did in Cal State Fullerton was.
So ASI programming throws student concerts each year, right? I hope they still do it. But I remember in my year, we were supposed to get Drake to be our headliner. And this was before he got big, but like a few weeks leading up to the concert, I think he won a Grammy or something. So he pulled out like a few weeks up and we were so mad because like tickets were sold, we advertised it. And we're like, how are we going to find an artist that would like, you know, top that? And so they're not that big now, but back then it was fun. So we ended up getting LMFAO to headline. Do you remember them?
No, them. Yeah. I mean, like the whole like shuffle every day, and then the
like
rock party. Yeah, party rock. Yeah.
So they ended up headlining for us, and thank goodness because they rescued us. And because I was an ASI, I was able to like kind of, I guess, be VIP and be in the front row. And they basically pulled me up to like sing to me. I was like, it's so funny to serenade like like a party song.
Party rock. You got serenaded to Every Day I'm Shuffle.
Yeah. It's super awkward, but that was literally my top memory for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset that I haven't been like serenaded by LMFAO. That's one of my life goals, you know. That's on the bucket list. Sure. Yeah, that's gonna be on the list. This is a much better memory than the other one.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That's a pretty awesome memory though. So is there anything else that you would like to add, because we're gonna wrap it up now?
No, I think that's it.
Do you know Titan Pro Network?
I've only heard of it, but you can go ahead and do your spiel.
You are on our Titan Pro Network, and basically what it is, for those of you that don't know, it's our own LinkedIn site where you can connect with alum, staff, faculty, anyone on campus, and other students as well. And currently we have over 1,000 alumni already signed up, like Kathy, who are willing to like help out, read your resume, offer you advice on anything that you need. Because like these alum right here, they're part of like Cal State Fullerton. They went through the same class as you did, same majors. They know like everything about the campus and can answer any questions that you have. And these people are willing to help out. You're not like cold calling them or anything. They signed up for this program just to help you guys. So go on over and sign up for Titan Pro Network today. It is completely free to join and free to use, and you will benefit so much from it. So go ahead and join that today. And you can message Kathy as well if you would like. She is on there. So if you have any questions for her, you found this podcast interesting, or you just want to let her know anything, go ahead and send her a message, let her know what you think about it. And yeah, with that, we're going to wrap it up. So this podcast will air on Saturdays at 6 p.m. on titanradio.org, or you can listen to them on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CSUF alumni. So thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned next Saturday. Thank you, Kathy, for joining us. It was a pleasure having you.
That was so much fun.